So I don't see nearly enough people talking about just how easy it is to get good at socializing. To go from being someone like I used to be, who felt major anxiety at the thought of even leaving the house for school in the morning, who hated big crowds, who actively avoided situations where I knew I was going to have to meet new people, to honestly, in a very short amount of time, I'm talking weeks, being able to handle yourself in those high pressure social environments, those places where you are going to meet new people, parties, any kind of social gathering where there's a lot of people. It's so much easier than you think to become comfortable in those environments. And that's because social skills function just like a muscle. If we train them, not every day, honestly only a few times a week, through short bursts of deliberate focus and effort on improving, we can get so much better just in a short period of time. So the thing you specifically are training when I'm talking about how social skills are a muscle that can be trained, you're training your social comfort. So social comfort for me is the absence of things like anxiety, of those nerves you feel going into social situations, which for me are the main things that really throw you off, that make you come across as awkward, and stop you showing off your natural, authentic personality. Because my perspective on this is, when you're around your friends, when you're around people who you feel very comfortable around, just being yourself, being goofy, it's natural. You feel like you're being yourself, you're showing off your authentic personality, but it's things like anxiety that create that static interference and make you start acting weird, make you start feeling like you need to act a different way or create a certain impression to be around other people. Pretty much anything that's like blocking and cutting off access to that like natural personality. So in my opinion, social comfort is just being able to authentically be yourself and not have any kind of interference and not feel like any pressure to change that because of other people. So the obvious way we can train that social comfort is through those like small bursts of either daily or maybe like every other day, just like accountability. Like, think of it like exposure therapy. We're training social comfort, so we're stepping very slightly outside our comfort zone each day. Whatever like small action you can take. So for me, when I was just starting out with this, I set myself the goal of talking to one new person every day. I thought that sounded like somewhat manageable. But when I was really introverted and dealing with like super anxious feelings, I realized that actually that would have been like biting off more than I could chew. So for me, what it looked like, it was something as small as walking past like 5 strangers on the street and making eye contact with them. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but when you're in that kind of introverted mind frame, when you have a lot of anxious feelings, something like that can even be getting outside your comfort zone. Like, don't dismiss those small actions that you can take, because even something like that, like making eye contact with a stranger and smiling, that is a win that you can get in. That can make you feel a lot better. And then from there, you gradually progress up. It could just be like saying good morning to the people around you, Like when I stroll through the corridor at work on a Monday morning, I make a point of trying to say good morning to every single person. Again, it's something which sounds small, but when I'm in that like tired Monday morning frame of mind, it can actually be a challenge. But it's not so much of a challenge that like I'm running off scared and I don't want to do it. So yeah, now I'm at the point where every single day I try and talk to someone that I don't know. Just a little 10-second interaction with someone new at the gym, or paying them a compliment. I like your trainers, bro. I like your outfit today. Something really small. Sometimes it leads to a conversation after that. But if it doesn't, that's completely fine. And you honestly get like that real adrenaline buzz after doing this, when you realize nothing bad happened and you just low-key conquered one of your fears. Like, honestly, any kind of interaction, whether it's just making eye contact, that counts as an interaction, or a small 10-second conversation with someone you don't know, you are doing better than most people. Because especially here in the West, or in the UK where I live, or certain European countries, we are naturally very closed off. And it's only gotten worse since COVID. People go like days and days without talking to people that they've never met before. We're walking around these cities and everyone is a stranger. There's fucking like 6 million people living in London, and most of them will like never even interact with each other. Like, to me, that's kind of crazy. But you are doing better than most people if you get out of your comfort zone in that way, even just in a small way. So you can either do that, you can either do like more frequent but smaller actions to get out of your comfort zone, and you will see a difference through doing that. You will feel more comfortable in social situations that felt a bit more scary. Or if you're feeling brave, and I like to mix this up, if you're feeling brave, you can do less frequent challenges, or a less frequent challenge each week that feels a lot scarier. So something to really take you out your comfort zone. So for me, around this time last year, I was really focused on learning cold approach. So going up to a random girl in the street and trying to get her number. I was kind of just in like a frame of mind where I was very, I was kind of done with online dating. I found it quite mentally exhausting, so I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just go like the old-fashioned route and try and meet some girls the other way? And it was really scary at first. I go down to London every single weekend, like I get the train down. To some people this is going to sound kind of sad, but for me it was all about overcoming that fear. I go down to London for the sole purpose that I'm going to see a lot of girls there. So if I got rejected, then I could turn the corner and there'd be another girl right there. Like, I could move on very quickly. At least that's how I thought it was in my head at the time. But it took like 3 weekends of going out and doing these sessions for me to even be able to approach one girl. I was that scared. But when I like finally worked up the courage to do it, even though I fumbled it, even though like I wasn't successful in the mission, the adrenaline buzz that I got after was just like, it was unreal. It's like, you could honestly get like hooked off the adrenaline you feel after, like overcoming that deep fear that I have and so many other guys have of like, it's kind of crazy just like talking to the opposite sex. Like, back then I felt like really down bad. Like, I was getting like a lot of unnecessary fear from talking to girls, because it would always just go like, anytime it just like became slightly like less platonic, like I felt like there maybe could be like a bit of flirty energy going on, my brain would just like shut down and get like a bit scared shitless, like this girl like might have an interest in me, what do I do? I'm not really doing the cold approaches now, but just like, it's given me like lifelong confidence, and I just feel like so much more comfortable like in those kinds of situations where like there's a bit of flirting going on. Even like in terms of just expressing interest from my end, because like not every girl is going to like me, but I'm just like more bold, more willing to take risks. But that's besides the point, because for me it was never really about like the objective of like getting numbers, and I went on a bunch of dates from it, but it was always just having that, like, it became more about that like weekly accountability, like really doing something scary every single weekend. And the really interesting idea, and I've given a name to this, I call it like the afterglow effect, because it feels like after you've done this really challenging thing, you're almost glowing, you're buzzing off that adrenaline for the next like hour. And it honestly doesn't go away, that feeling of like confidence, just like almost like alpha energy, like I'm really sure of myself right now, like I can do anything. I have like unreal confidence because I've just done this like really scary thing. That feeling doesn't go away for like, honestly, like 3 or 4 days after. And I remember I'd go back to work on like the Monday or the Tuesday, and I'd be doing things which would have caused me a bit of fear, like public speaking, or, you know, I have to like present my work at the team meeting. And I'd feel just so comfortable in that situation, because it's almost like I've hit my target at the weekend. I've done something which most guys would consider like one of the scariest experiences, talking to a random girl on the street, risking the rejection, and I've like gotten through it. So nothing else this week is going to faze me, because I've already done the scariest thing I could have possibly done. And the only annoying thing is that it doesn't last forever. It lasts for like a good number of days. But this is what I mean. Social skills are a muscle. If we don't train that muscle, the muscle atrophies and we eventually lose that. But it's not as if we lose that forever, because that muscle memory does exist. We just need to make sure that we are being consistent and showing that accountability to ourselves. So I think for me, like, I've really adapted my lifestyle towards this. Like, even when I don't go out on cold approach all the time now, but I'm still hitting my daily target of speaking to one new person every day. And I'm planning those bigger social challenges. Like, I've now made it like a bit of a ritual to go on like a little trip abroad, maybe like once every 2 or 3 months, completely on my own, and stay in like a hostel where I'm completely self-reliant on like whether I'm going to meet people or whether I'm just going to be sitting there on my own, like in my room the whole trip. It's like up to me to make things happen. And it's a challenge, but it's something which I know is going to like keep me accountable, and like it's just like good for the soul. So yeah, those are the 2 different approaches you can use to build up your social comfort. And keep it in mind, like, as long as you're just like a little bit consistent, like getting out of your comfort zone in a small way or a big way, you'll reap all the rewards and you'll feel super comfortable in pretty much any social environment. Thank you.